Is that what those audio visual applications?
Probably. I was on.
And then I send it early.
What the hell is happening?
Not on the plan.
It doesn't say you do special characters. Those are the heights.
Clerk. Okay,
How do I know where on the wall it is?
gonna do that.
Eyeball it.
Yeah,
Just eyeball it.
Well, and then, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Hey, Justin, I logged out of the Zoom on this one. Sorry,
Lock back in.
no.
Yeah, he's gonna be a couple minutes late. He'll be here.
you go to, you do overseas, right? When you go to.
Single duty on parenting today, I guess.
It's hard.
Getting,
But we don't have a sick kid though, right?
no, I don't think that's, yeah, everything's worked out there.
Who's?
Mhm.
Say, most simple project was like.
What kind of project is this? Like,
This
is
is-
it like a retail, office?
Yes, he does.
Cause I've seen it with
Schools
schools where
are
like
like-
teachers get involved in those and it's like, oh my god.
This morning.
I know, that's a whole different story. That's actually worse.
I was gonna say, school level.
Awesome. And then can-
Drop the.
Post.
I have another card. I need to follow up with you on that.
Thank you. I think we're good. Mhm.
Welcome. I couldn't
Thank
find it. I said, what did I do with his card?
That's good.
Got another dog.
Uh-huh.
How many do you have now?
Only two dogs. Two dogs.
They want you to get rid
You have
of
two
them.
now.
Two now, yeah. Two dogs now. Two Mats and two out.
Try to get you to what?
Kind of.
No, not if they give you a box of cards. Now, if they don't.
I was hoping it was something I knew.
Then you can answer what's what.
Big boxes of them. I
Mm.
always forget to hand them out.
You know, that's what I started doing.
She's,
You got it as a puppy?
yeah, she's.
You have no idea what you're in for.
Oh, I know, my dog right now.
I just.
Bigger house.
Yeah, you got to unmute in there. Okay.
Okay. Great. Mr. Chair, it's ready to go.
Okay, I thought he was gonna unmute us, so I guess you got that?
Well-
All right, good morning and welcome to the September 17th, 2025 City Planning Commission meeting. Hopefully we're down to our last 90-degree day today. The commissioners look forward to hearing your case as we understand every project is important and unique. In addition, we want to make sure that we address all of the docketed items individually with the attention they need to build consensus between the applicant, public, and the city staff. Our meeting will follow the advertised docket, and we'll hear the cases in the order they are listed, beginning with the consent agenda items, followed by the regular docketed items. The commissioners believe we can reach consensus by being brief yet heard. Because our meeting is virtual and recorded, we have time limits for the cases that we hear, which is 5 minutes for staff presentations and 20 minutes for the applicant, plus any questions by the commissioners. When we move to public comment, we will call on those who have joined us in person first, followed by those who are joining us virtually. Public comments are limited to 2 minutes when speaking as an individual or up to 5 minutes when representing a community association or larger group. Please be brief and limit repetitive comments. For those of you who are joining us virtually, please be ready to go when it's your turn to speak. Have your video camera turned on and your screen name correctly displayed. This helps us make sure that we get your testimony for the record. So as we get started, I ask staff to provide any additional ground rules and instructions as we conduct our meeting to ensure that we have minimal disruption and maximum clarity. So, Marissa?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to describe the testimony procedure for the hybrid meeting. For those online, know that there are two categories of people participating in the meeting, attendees and panelists. And right now, the only panelists are the commission members and city staff. If you are an applicant or a member of the public who would like to testify regarding a case, please use the raise hand function when the case is announced to let staff know you would like to speak. There's a ribbon at the bottom of your Zoom screen with a hand icon, and click this to raise your hand and to request to speak on a case. You will need to accept the promotion to panelist. It may appear temporarily as if you've been disconnected. However, don't panic, you will be reconnected shortly. If you are calling in on a phone line, your screen name appears as your phone number, and you can raise your hand to speak when the case is called by pressing star followed by the number 9. When you're promoted to panelist, the chair would like for you to turn on your camera so that the commission can see you when it is your time to speak. Your microphone needs to always be on mute unless you're giving testimony at the appropriate time. When you are called upon, you will be able to share your screen to display exhibits. The chat box is only for questions about the agenda, and merits of the case are not to be discussed in the chat box. For those joining us in person, applicants may be seated at the center desk when the case is called, and members of the public who would like to speak may approach the microphone on the podium when the chair calls for public testimony. If you are in person, there is no need for you to attend on Zoom. Joining the meeting in both manners, in person and virtually, causes a lot of unnecessary feedback and audio disruptions. Please keep silence or mute all of your electronic devices and be quiet when entering and exiting the hearing room. The commission has established the time limits for all testimony during the meeting. You will be given 2 minutes to testify when speaking as an individual, or 5 minutes if you represent an organization, which includes a neighborhood organization, HOA, CID, or business association. And that's all, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Let's begin with the consent agenda item, please.
There's one consent item today. It's case number CLD Final Plat 2025-00026, a request to approve a final plat in District R-7.5 on about 54 acres generally located at the southwest corner of North Line Creek Parkway and Northwest Old Stagecoach Road, creating 3 lots and 8 tracts for a multi-unit residential development. And staff is recommending approval with conditions.
All right, any questions from the commissioners regarding docket item C1? Okay, is Commissioner, is Betsy joining us online?
I don't see her online.
Okay, just making sure. All right, so at this time, let's open it up for any public testimony. If there's anybody that would like to speak regarding docket item C1, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you will be called upon.
No one appears with their hand raised and no one appears in person.
Okay, we'll close public testimony then, and I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Carl, move to approve docket item C1.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item C1. Can we take roll call, please?
Harkin,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Forbes,
Aye.
Hassick.
Aye.
All right, looks like the motion passes then 6-0. With that, let's move to the regular agenda items, beginning with those that are looking to continue to a future date, please.
Okay, our continuances begin with docket item number 4, case number CD ROW 2025-00023, a request to approve a vacation of an alley in District R-0.5, B1-1, M1-5 of about 6,000 square feet, generally located 150 feet east of Lydia Avenue between East 10th Street and East 11th Street. Staff is recommending continuance without fee to October 1st. Docket item number 8 is CD CPC 2025-00141, a request to approve amendments to section 88354 regarding hours of operation for dispensary facilities. And staff is recommending continuance without fee to October 1st. Docket item number 9 is CD CPC 2025-00116, a request to approve a rezoning from District R-6 to R-1.5 on about 3.7 acres generally located at 724 Northeast 79th Terrace to allow for the conversion of a structure into a multi-unit building. Staff is recommending continuance off docket with fee. Docket item 10, case CD CPC 2025-00125, a request to approve an MPD final plan to allow for a residential development with 39 buildings and a total of 174 units on 17.24 acres, generally located at the southeast corner of Holmes Road and East 115th Street. Staff is recommending continuance without fee to October 1st. Docket item 11, case number CD CPC 2025-00133, a request to approve a major amendment to an approved UR plan to allow for outdoor storage on about 10.85 acres generally located on Corporate Drive, just north of the intersection with North Cambridge Avenue at 6830 Corporate Drive. Staff is recommending continuance without fee to October 1st. And case number CD CPC 2025-00111, a request to approve a de-annexation of approximately 4.5 acres generally located at the northwest corner of Northeast 104th Street and North Church Road from the corporate limits of the city of Kansas City, Missouri, to permit subsequent annexation by the city of Liberty, Missouri. And staff is recommending continuance without fee to October 1st. And that's a change from the published docket.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commissioners regarding continuance of docket items 4? Let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12? All right, let's open it up for public testimony. If there's anybody that would like to speak regarding the continuance of those docketed items, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you will be called upon.
No one appears with their hand raised and no one is standing at the podium.
All right, we'll close public testimony then on that, and I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crowley, move to continue docket items 4, 8, 10, 11, and 12 to October 1st without fee, and to continue docket item 9 off docket with fee.
Second.
All right, so I got a motion and a second for continuance of those docketed items plus the one that's off docket. Can you take a roll call on that motion, please?
Arkin,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Forbes,
Aye.
and Hassick.
Aye.
All right, looks like the motion passes then. With that, let's move to docket item number 1, please.
Okay, docket item number 1 is case number CD CPC 2025-00103, a request to approve text amendments to Chapter 88, the Zoning and Development Code, in Section 88354 regarding marijuana hospitality businesses. And Councilman Rogers is here to answer some questions that you might have from our last meeting.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning, how are you guys?
Good.
So I got the list of questions. I'm happy to dive right in if you want, or you can ask them.
Go right ahead.
So no on alcohol. So this would be separate. So this would be marijuana bars basically, and a little bit of I'm going to back up a little bit. So, I walk from this building to Power and Light for lunch fairly regularly, and you smell weed everywhere you go, and it drives me crazy. So this was in part because of that. And so the idea is when I was in the state legislature when the voters passed marijuana to make it legal. Not something I used. Clearly the voters wanted, I'm fine with it. But what we put in the Constitution was that you can create basically these marijuana bars like in this ordinance. But one of the things when we abdicated our role as legislators and forced the voters to do this, now it's in the Constitution, so we can't draft laws that make sense. We've just got to go with what the Constitution says. And what happened was a lot of out-of-state money came in and benefited from legal marijuana in Missouri, and who lost on that was the mom and pops and the smaller restaurant owners, bar owners, people that would otherwise make money on this had we just done it through the legislative process instead of the constitutional process. So the idea is really twofold. One is so you can walk around downtown and not smell weed all the time. We'll have a $100 fine for marijuana. That's basically, think about it like an open container. You can drink a beer. You just can't walk down the street drinking a beer. Same idea. You can smoke marijuana. That's legal now, but you can't walk down the street smoking marijuana. But the trade-off there is now we'll have these marijuana bars where you can't sell alcohol there, so it's just marijuana. You smoke it inside. It gives the mom and pops a chance to benefit from this new legal industry in our state. And so to me, it's a compromise. Let's get it off the streets. Let's make it legal. Let's give small business owners a chance to benefit from what the big guys are benefiting from.
Any questions? Go ahead.
So this establishment would charge a fee for you to come in?
Be just like a bar, they could charge a cover charge if they want, but they wouldn't have to.
And I'm not understanding how they would make any money if they can't sell
They
alcohol.
can sell food and they can sell, whatever the lounges do, just like they can't sell marijuana either, but yeah, we can get some if they can't make any money off of it, they probably won't do it, so we won't have anything to worry about. But there's definitely people that think this is a good idea that are advocating for it. So my guess is probably food.
I have a clarifying question. You said that they won't be able to smoke outside, because I think we had heard.
No, and that's again like part of the reason I like this is to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, so I had informed the commission that the original draft that I had seen on the Chapter 11 provisions had included language that would allow smoking outdoors at these
Yeah.
establishments, and I think that's been
That's been scaled
revised.
back, yeah.
Yeah,
So who regulates it?
Get to speak in the microphone, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I'd leaned up enough. Who regulates it then?
Yeah, regulated industries, right? Just like anything else.
That's Chapter 10. It's not 11.
you're right, you're correct, but we are creating a new Chapter 11 specifically for these establishments. It will be regulated industries. So unlike the existing marijuana businesses in the city, the dispensaries that are regulated by the state, these will be regulated locally by the city.
And people are going to smoke marijuana whether we do this or not. Again, not my thing, but it's a chance for mom and pops to benefit from it like the big guys are.
Will there be a limit on operation hours?
That's what did we end up at?
That might be in the, I don't.
I believe the hours of operation are one of the cases that you continued earlier today.
But the idea would be to regulate it the same as a bar, as a tavern. So I would say if I had my way, we'd do it the same as we do bars.
So have we had input from regulated industries on this?
I haven't talked to Jim about it, but you probably have.
I have not personally, but the person in my office who's worked on the Chapter 11 provision, Drew Bonkowski, has been working with regulated industries.
Yeah, they've been on the emails. I know that.
I have some
I do see, again, I'm probably less familiar with the Chapter 11 provisions than the sponsor, but I do see a provision in here that prohibits consumption between the hours of 2 a.m. and 8 a.m.
Yeah, so there you go.
They could be open until 2 a.m.
Yeah, and if you guys think we ought to change that, I don't have a strong opinion on that.
So do we have days of operation in that? Because I know regulated industries has different things for weekends and late hours. Those are separate things they cover.
Like I said, the idea is to regulate it like a bar, so it would be the same as they do with places selling alcohol.
And that's what I'm saying. They have different licenses based on your hours of operation.
Yeah, this would be, yeah, and we've got lots of licenses and rules in the city. This would be a relatively straightforward deal. There wouldn't be multiple different kinds of marijuana bar licenses. It would just be one license.
Is it my understanding that it can't be, you cannot obtain a license at a place that is selling?
Yeah, so the question is can you obtain a license at a place that sells marijuana? The answer is no. That's for multiple reasons, one of which is that's illegal under state law. And two is, again, we're trying to create a new business opportunity for small mom and pops who aren't ever going to get a license to sell marijuana.
But how do you get the marijuana to use in this?
You bring it BYOM. And again, like I'm a former prosecutor. I don't love I don't love the fact that we've got what we've got. And like I said, part of this is making it a fine to walk down the street smoking a joint, which right now is not illegal. This is very much a compromise.
Yeah, I personally, I think all these questions are good questions. Maybe not for us in terms of our purview. Just some quick Googling. I was just curious. You know, out of the 24-ish states that have legalized marijuana, 14 at least have cannabis lounges. In terms of the land use aspect of it, you know, I think the biggest thing that I think I would have preferred an option that people could have an outdoor space, but that would have made it more complicated. And so I think removing that makes this very straightforward for me because what's happening inside a building is happening inside a building, and I don't see a lot of repercussions for neighboring businesses. I think the strongest consideration would be if a neighboring business felt that their property was devalued by having this next to them, and then what the process is for determining, you know, if there's consent from neighboring businesses or otherwise. But so that would be my main focus. Although there are many, many understandable questions that I'm sure we all have about this in terms of the role of the CPC, that would be my only question.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Just some questions I had are related to how this body kind of looks at this. What is the procedure? I mean, I think they come through us for approval of what? I mean, to be able to have it there. And so we're looking at a distance from other businesses, schools, churches, or something of that nature. Is it a recommend approval and it goes through council, or is it a special use permit? What's the process and procedure for that an applicant would need to go through to be able to have this bar?
There's not necessarily a need for to come before council unless perhaps the scale of the project would trigger a development plan approval requirement. But yeah, you don't see most of these businesses that already exist in the city.
Sure.
But there are distance requirements that they would have to meet before they could get their approval for a license through regulated industries. And so there would be a zoning review by city planning that's part of the process of regulated industries issuing the license. And then they'd have to comply with the distance requirements.
And the distance requirements will
Um,
mirror bars. Same idea.
I'm sorry, say that again.
The distance requirements would be the same as a regular bar.
Chair Carl, can I interrupt your questions? Because on that note, I'm thinking, except for the regulated part of this, this seems most analogous to me to a cigar lounge. And so what is the process currently if someone wants to open up a cigar lounge? Is there any extra process different from opening up, let's call it a restaurant that doesn't serve alcohol or a retail establishment?
You mean, through regulated industries? Or
Just in
through-
general. So if I'm a property owner or a resident, or maybe I'm officing next to a building, and next month there's a cigar lounge that opens, are there things that would have had to happen that differ from someone opening up a cafe,
Their ice cream shop.
or something else?
I'm not familiar with how the regulated, I don't even, I'd have to do some research to
Okay.
determine that. I don't believe there is anything unique though in terms of that type of business being treated differently in the zoning code. Are you?
No, we
Are
would
you-
just review it for the change of use.
I mean, in that respect, again, in terms of, I think that and it's always a tough intangible is property values, but otherwise, my instinct would be that if an operation had a negative impact on other operations or other neighbors, then there are already methods through the city at which we would address that. And so from a property and land use perspective, I'm good with what exists currently.
And again, you know, on the state constitution, this is already, these marijuana lounges were created under the state constitution. So there's only so much we can do legally at the local level anyway. There's a chance somebody will do this outside of the scope of our local regulations, and then we're on our heels. I would prefer to get in front of it so we can set it up the way we want to get it set up.
All right, any other questions from the commission?
Yes. So the distances are set that were in the, I don't remember what they were, but in the, when we discussed it last time, I discussed the distances from schools, churches and that thing. So that distance is set, or can that be adjusted as this goes along?
Right now it says 500.
Yeah, it does. It includes a distance requirement of 500 feet from existing schools, as well as churches and daycares.
Well, and I think it
But-
was maybe 1,000 feet within elementary schools and secondary, and then 500 through.
No, it's 500.
I think I remember reading 500 just flat across the board.
Yeah, and that's what bars are. So that's where that came from.
Not sure what you're.
So those distances are set, they can't be adjusted.
I mean, if the recommendation is to make it further, I'm happy to have that conversation.
Right. I mean, of course, the commission can make whatever recommendation it deems appropriate. It then goes to council and then it will be debated by council. So there's room for adjustment at every step of the process.
I like the consistency.
Okay,
I don't like 2,000 for gas stations and 500 for this and 700 for that.
That's the existing.
yeah.
Yeah. It is different.
Any other questions from the commission?
I think I'm good
Yes.
for now.
I mean, my only thing is clarify, our vote is on these lounges, right? Not anything else related to it.
Correct. It'd be the changes that are being proposed, for chapter 88, 354.
Yeah, so I convoluted them a little bit and I didn't do that on purpose. I just wanted you to know where my mindset was as this is, and I've talked to the marijuana advocates about it, and the idea is I said, I'm happy to help get this through, but there's got to be some give and take here. And I'm sick of smelling marijuana everywhere I go. And they were open to that. So, so yeah, so to me, they're the same issue, but yeah, for your guys' purposes, it's not the open container piece of it.
Yep. Just wanted to be clear on that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. Sounds good. With that, let's open it up for public testimony. If there's anybody that would like to speak regarding docket item number 1, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you'll be called upon.
No one appears online with the raised hand, and no one appears in person.
Okay, we'll close, public testimony then. Any other thoughts before making a motion?
Can I say one more thing? Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, I just want to get it right. So any recommendations you guys have to the council, send them. But like I said, this is probably going to happen anyway. Part of it to me is to just accept it as the new reality and come up with rules that make sense. So you guys hear a lot of these types of cases. Appreciate your feedback and I look forward to hearing what your recommendations are.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of half a dozen things off the top of my head that would potentially make it better, but would also just drag this thing down. And so I feel as though often when we layer on all these restrictions, it ends up, you take all the developable land or all the land that can be used, and then all of a sudden, once you overlay all these restrictions, you have less than, 5%, and it puts it in really weird spots. And so some of the considerations, one would be, zoning districts, that it's allowed in. Second would be, are we anticipating that these uses are going to pop up next to existing dispensaries? And is that ideal? Like, it might be ideal because we've already determined through all these other layers of things that this is the right location for a dispensary. Perhaps it's the right location also then for a lounge. Or is there some reason that you wouldn't want those? I mean, my inclination would be looking at those other 14 states, but based upon our purview, I prefer having something that's relatively simple that is built upon something that is understood well, which would be bars and bars. So I appreciate that approach.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say, I mean, our body's looking at it from a land use standpoint and I know we have a lot of questions related to the actual, chapter 11 that's being produced. And my only I want to make a comment to that is I just hope we don't go backwards where we allow, go to a fair restaurant and we allow marijuana to be smoked in there. And I can't imagine that because we don't allow cigarettes, So I don't want to go backwards on that.
I agree to
personally.
agree. Yeah.
And I don't think we will, but just want to make that statement. With that, we'll close testimony. I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crowe, I move to approve docket item number 1 without conditions.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 1, without conditions. Larissa, can you take a roll call on that motion, please?
Arkin,
Aye.
Beasley,
No,
Prowl,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Forbes,
Aye.
Passick.
Aye.
Looks like the motion passes 5-1. Yep, thank you. Good luck as you move forward.
Thanks.
All right, let's move on to docket item number 2, please.
The following 2 cases are companion cases. Docket item 2.1 is case number CD CPC 2025-00140, a request to approve an area plan amendment to the Martin City Area Plan for the northern portion of the property on about 3.19 acres, generally located 130 feet north of East 135th Street on the northwest corner of East 135th Street and Oak Street to a future land use of commercial. And 2.2 is case number CD CPC 2025-00124, a request to approve a rezoning with associated master plan development from District B2-2 to District MPD and approving an associated plan which serves as a preliminary plat on about 4 acres, generally located at the northwest corner of East 135th Street and Oak Street to allow for a commercial and storage development. And I will be presenting, so give me just one moment.
Okay, is the applicant available as well? Okay, come on up. Put you in a hot seat.
If I need to share screen, I've been told to log in through Zoom. So if there's more information that we need to put up there.
Yeah, that either that or if you have it on a jump drive, she can put it in her machine
On a
as
different
well.
kind
So,
of system.
yeah. So we'll go through the staff presentation first and then we'll come back to you after. Is that all right? Okay.
Okay. Larissa Chambi, City Planning and Development, and I'll share my screen and get started. Okay. This is docket item 2 for an area plan amendment and a rezoning to MPD. This is the subject location. As you can see, it's in the southern part of the city, located in the Martin City area. Here is an overview of the subject site. You can't see it from this overview, but there are 2 parcels associated with the project. When we zoom in, you'll see it in more clarity. This is a view of the site looking north on East 135th Street. And then here is the existing, and let me just move this real quick. This is the existing zoning and future land use for the area. So on the left, you can see that B2-2 zoning, and then on the right, you can see that future land use. It's currently registered as a mixed-use neighborhood. The applicant is asking to rezone the parcels to District MPD and is also requesting an area plan amendment to this north side of the property that you can see highlighted in yellow to commercial. And I'll get to the site plan on the next slide, but I just wanted to give a brief overview. The applicant is proposing 4 buildings. 3 of the buildings on the north side, that's the area where the area plan amendment is being requested, are identified as flex caves on the site plan, and those will be marketed towards higher end collectors and allows for more flexibility in uses of the buildings. There's a 4th building along East 135th Street, and that is identified as shop caves. And those will have businesses that can have logistics and storage, but those include a retail storefront along that East 135th Street. Staff did request that the parking along 135th Street be moved to the side of the building so that that building could be moved to the front to better align with the buildings on the street as are currently existing. However, the applicant did decide to move forward with the parking in front of the building and did increase their landscaping to create more of a buffer and to improve that pedestrian connectivity. So as I mentioned, here's that site plan. You can see the buildings towards the back are identified as those flex caves, and then here are those retail front units, and you can see that there's one access that will lead to the entire development. The back half of the development is gated and not open to the public. And then the front 11 units will be open to the public as with those retail spaces. Here is a look at that landscape plan. You can see that the applicant did provide additional landscaping. The applicant did also work with staff to update their building materials. The building materials are a mix of concrete cast panels with integrated brick inlay. And so all those elevations that you can see from East 135th Street do have different material or architectural details just to provide a difference in, so it doesn't all look like these garages that you can see from towards the back of the site. And then here again are some more elevations. And then here's a view just looking a little bit north from the southern part of the property, looking north towards the property on East 135th Street. You can see that there's a lot of landscape buffers just along the frontage of the street. So the applicant is proposing to limit the uses allowed in the buildings towards the back of the site. And so this is a revision to the condition number 9. And I'm trying to, okay. The first couple edits are just making sure that the proposed uses align with our work or our use table. And so we're just highlighting that that warehouse manufacturing and production is limited to artisanal for the area. We don't want to include the limited or general warehousing. And then we are also including office, administrative, professional, or general to allow them to use those as office spaces should they want to be used for that. And since this is a change, we are also adding condition number 37 that the applicant update the site plan and the area plan amendment sheet and any other sheet where the uses are listed to reflect this change prior to ordinance request. And so with that, staff is recommending approval of the area plan amendment and approval with conditions to the rezoning to MPD. And I can answer any questions if you have them.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for city staff? Nothing? Okay.
All right.
With that, let's welcome the applicant then. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, anything to add from the presentation from staff if you have?
No, I think that pretty much covered it. There are some renderings and some other descriptions I can show if there are questions about it. This is a first of its kind concept that we're planning to launch here in Kansas City and then roll out nationally. It will be a hybrid of flex space so that the retail component, the shop caves in front, encourage small businesses to utilize the space both for their product storage as well as a customer facing street frontage. We did meet with Martin City CID, received a unanimous approval from them that was made up mostly of all the business owners in Martin City. They have a letter, which I believe is in your packet, supporting this.
Okay.
We did talk thoroughly about the parking with staff. We understand the walkability factor. I think this product will encourage walkability, although we do have some diagonal parking in front. We feel that that's more for the retail customer and their access rather than locating it off to the side. Martin City CID agreed with that. They realize there's parking issues in Martin City, and we're adding additional parking for that. So with that, if you would like to see more, there is a website you can also go to.
Yeah, what's
later.
the commission? You want to see more what they're proposing? I think it'd be a good idea.
Okay.
Especially if
I'm
we
not
see it.
sure if I raise my hand, will it allow me to share screen?
She's got the power this morning.
All right.
Promoting you.
All right. What I'm sharing, hopefully there's not much delay on this. I'm going to attempt to spin this around. So we're looking north from 135th Street for those familiar with the Martin City District area. The old RC's restaurant is located over here to the east. So as you approach, and hopefully this is zooming, it is, you can see that we do have parking in front. There's also parallel parking, which already exists. So we will be enhancing that and beautifying that. We've spent a lot of time working with the architect and with staff on the building materials. And as you can see here, there is walkability. There's sidewalk in front of all these shops. These could be small business owners, retailers, offices. The reason we've asked for administrative and offices in the back, some of these are going to be small contractors. They might be e-commerce fulfillment centers where they're going to keep their bookkeeping, their on-site staff there. This is not open to the public. We are partnering with Secure Passage, which is also located in Martin City, on a security system. Some of these caves in the back or in the middle will contain high-value assets, car collectors. So we will have not only security system, but we will have AI cameras surrounding the perimeter. This also includes a launchable automated drone so that if someone penetrates the fence, the drone is launched. It is hovering over them. We talked with the police staff about this and their concerns with the property. I think that answered their questions. This is a $20 million development. It will be approximately a 7-month construction period done by ARCO Design Build. So we are excited to launch it here. It should break ground hopefully in April or May of next year and be done in 2026. There's 51 caves consisting of the shop caves up front, pro caves scattered throughout the middle, and then the prime caves in the back. There's very few products like this in Kansas City. There are storage and condo garages around town. Most of them are in industrial parks or located way outside of town. We feel that this location is very conducive for the retail component and really adds a nice hybrid approach to the typical storage unit. And I hate saying storage unit because these aren't.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Could I ask what the blue area is?
That's the detention that's required. So 25% of the 5 acres had to be set aside for detention. It will not be full of water, but it will hold in the event that it's needed.
So Bruce's question is green.
Pardon me?
Right.
Is that the right term he would use?
Yeah, any green infrastructure is part of that detention facility that you know of that has bioretention, it's a stormwater cleaning or anything of that, or is it just a big,
It's basically just a big hole.
okay?
I was just curious, how much are the units going to be rented out for?
So our rents will range from approximately $2,300 a month all the way up to our largest units, which are the Prime Cave XXLs, which are over 4,000 square feet. And you can see those located here in these 2 rooftop areas. If I can spin it around, those will be over 8,000 a month. So these are again, these aren't your small bay storage units. These are fully finished. They all have, as you can see, HVAC systems. All of them are fully sheetrock. They have mezzanines. Kitchenettes are options in most of them. Bathrooms in every unit. Polished concrete floors. So these are our luxury garages.
Well, I'm glad you showed it to us. That looks good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We spent some time on it.
All right, any other questions for the applicant? With that, let's go to see if the public has anything to say. So if there's anybody that would like to speak regarding docket item number 2.1 or 2.2, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you'll be called upon.
No one has raised their hand online.
We got one coming up here. Yep, come on up
Great.
to the podium here. State your name and address for the record and good morning.
Hi, good morning. Paul Lopez, address 8955 East 38th Terrace, Kansas City, Missouri, 64129. Just a question regarding this project. Is it a tilt-up? Or the storage units, are they going to be tilt-up?
We are, I'll have my engineer address that in the contract.
So it'll be the same function.
Okay, all right. And they're going to be using local labor?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else like to speak?
No one else has approached the podium.
Okay, so we'll close public testimony. Anything else you'd like to add at this time?
No.
Okay. Thank you. So then we'll close testimony and speak amongst the commission. I think what we're asking about on the storm detention is having some green infrastructure incorporated in that, some best management practices to be added, be a part of that to help clean up the stormwater instead of it just being a big hole, that you have some greenery around it. Stormwater gets cleansed as it goes in there as it's stored. So
Sure. Mr. Chairman, I think, as you can see, our focus is on attracting a high-value client.
absolutely.
They're going to want that. So whether we put bubblers or fountains in there, if there's water continuously, which we don't anticipate. Otherwise, we've got trees surrounding the area. We'll be obviously maintaining that area. So
Yeah, that's some of it. I think you got the landscaping already figured out, but then it's the actual storm management that goes through a cleansing process before it goes back to our state. So like in a lot of times in the basin itself, it's got percolation, that allows that to happen, or before where the stormwater is collected, it's got a separator at that point to keep the trash, grit, debris, all those kind of things down.
okay. So
take
Andy, I
time.
was going to say,
Yeah.
this is our engineer.
Hi, I'm Andy Gabbert with Renaissance Infrastructure Consulting. So the detention basin itself, we do have a kind of a non-proprietary unit for the storm structure in front of the basin. So all the storm water funnels through those first, cleans the water, and then it goes into the basin where it is held per the standard 24, 48 hours before it is released down into the system.
Yeah, we're just asking to incorporate some green with that. That's all. Okay. All right, thank you. So with that, I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crowell, I move to approve docket item 2.1 without conditions and 2.2 with conditions.
Second. Hold on. Oh, we got some revisions to conditions 2, 3, 4, and adding 37. So can you read the changes, please?
Absolutely.
We could get that in the motion.
And
And-
it's just one condition. Yeah.
Yep. So Chair Crowell, I move to approve docket item 2.1 without conditions and 2.2 with conditions, amending number 9 as provided in the staff presentation.
And adding number 37.
Sorry, and adding number 37. Sorry about that.
Second.
So got a motion and a second for approval of docket items 2.1 and 2.2 with modification to 9 and adding number 37. You take roll call on it. Motion, please, Marissa.
Have a second?
What's that?
Did we have a second?
Yes,
Okay,
we did.
Thank you.
Yep.
Arkin,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders.
Aye.
Forbes,
Aye.
and Hasek.
Aye.
Looks like the motion passes. Thank you. Look forward to seeing this one.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to docket item number 3, please.
Docket item number 3 is case CD CPC 2025-00099, a request to approve a major amendment to a previously approved MPD for lots 3 and 4 in District MPD on about 2.8 acres, generally located at 9790 and 9806 North Oak Traffic Way. And Genevieve Kahn Smith is the staff planner.
Morning.
Thank you.
I just passed out some testimony that was received after the staff report was posted. Right. Docket item number 3 is for a major amendment to a previously approved MPD for the BB North Oak MPD area. It's located in the northern portion of the city, north of 152. And this is the subject site highlighted in yellow. It's 5 lots that were previously approved for some different commercial uses. It should probably look familiar. There's been a handful of plans before this commission over the last few years, and the southernmost lot is now completely built out with the culvers. It's been open for quite some time now. So this amendment is really focused on lots 3 and 4. Lot 3 was previously approved for a multi-tenant building, and so the amendment will allow a vehicle repair general use, which is really any type of vehicle repair that's more than oil or fluid changes, anything tires, bodywork, engines, anything of that nature. And then lot 4 is also included in this because the plan previously approved limited auto repair use. So just a quick oil change type of place. Obviously it doesn't make sense to have both of those anymore. And so there's no proposed tenant for lot 4. So staff recommended that the plan reflect any use in B1 be allowed. So that way there's a variety of uses permitted, but they're not very intense. So that way we don't need to keep coming back and doing major amendments just for the uses. And then lot 4, as you can see, there's not much shown. Again, there's no tenant proposed, so we will review all things like site layout, building, parking at the time of an MPD final plan, which will come back before this commission. Here's just the updated data table based on the proposed use and building square footage, parking, all of that information. And then looking specifically at the proposed building for lot 3, it will be 10,000 square foot building, again for vehicle repair uses, 30 proposed parking spaces and 7 service bays on the north side of the building. There'll also be a pedestrian connection out to North Oak, and the only vehicular access will be on the west side of the site, which will come from an existing private drive. So there will be no curb cuts onto North Oak. And then I have some building elevations. Primary materials include cast concrete panels. There is a small amount of stone veneer detailing towards the customer entrance area, which has more windows and transparency. And just a few more renderings. So there was a few changes that the staff and applicant were working out during the continuance period. There are design standards that go along with this MPD. One of those standards being that no long blank walls are permitted. So you can see this image in the bottom right-hand corner. That's the south facade. So that's what you would see if you're driving north on North Oak Traffic Way. And so the standards say there needs to be some sort of variation in material, color, articulation, those types of things. There is a small amount of undulation of the building. You can see by the shadows here in the rendering. However, the applicant opted to provide enhanced landscaping rather than changing the building materials. That was something that we came to a compromise on. And then there's just a few images of the site. It's just greenfield right now. There's not a whole lot going on. There is some general sloping to the site. You can see the culvers on the south end here is fully constructed. And then this is an older image from 2023. Not much has changed really, as there's only one lot that's been fully built out in this area. And with that, staff is recommending approval with conditions for this amendment, and I can take any questions.
Yeah, I think a question brought up in some of this testimony, and it's kind of curious. Last week when this was advertised, we had on our docket to be continued as recommended for denial. So what's changed since that time?
Yes, so the previous report that was prepared had a recommendation of denial due to the plans not meeting those MPD design standards for. There is also a standard for fenestration, so the windows. On the street facing facade, there's a requirement of 30%. The original elevations were not meeting that. So what was proposed to mitigate that denial was the addition of spandrel glass in this corner here. It's not transparent, but the design standards aren't explicit on transparency necessarily. So that didn't meet the standard, and there was no pedestrian connection to North Oak provided, which is a code requirement. So because they did not meet those, it was recommendation of
Okay,
denial.
so it did meet the original MPD that was in place for this area. And now we're kind of looking at amending it a little bit.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions for city staff?
Yes. So the white wall on the bottom right, that faces North Oak?
It faces south towards the culvers that I showed in the picture and the Quick Trip. So it's on the south side of the building. It's not abutting a right of way. Pull up.
Okay.
Okay, it's this facade on the south here. On the bottom, the long one. And then the one on North Oak is the one that had the windows on it.
Okay, that's what I thought, but then you said North Oak, so I said, okay, so they wait a minute, okay.
So if you're driving on North
Okay.
Oaks and you're headed north, you'll see this bottom facade.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I just was trying to correct my orientation of the building.
Understand. Okay. All right, let's welcome the applicant then. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Plan Commission. My name is Patricia Jensen with the Rouse Fretz Law Firm with offices located at 4510 Bellevue. I believe there should be some hands raised. Eric Rouse and Zach Graham with Les Schwab should be on the call.
I'm not seeing anyone.
Well, we'll go on and see if they raise their hands in the interim, because I do believe they're on, or they were supposed to be. To my right is Dan McGee. He's the engineer on this case. And to my very right, or to the very, very right is Jill Lyons, who is the architect associated with the Les Schwab Tire Center. Since neither of them are on at this point, I'll give you a little bit of background about who Les Schwab is. And before we go into the cases, we appreciated the time we had. I think we continued the case for 4 weeks, if I remember. And that has enabled the changes that you've seen here. Les Schwab is a tire centers, was founded in 1952 in Central Oregon, and they currently operate more than 591 stores in 13 states across the country. This is their first store in the Kansas City metropolitan area, and they're excited also to get this store constructed, but to bring more stores here. I know you hear tire center. Who's excited about a tire center? I am told by the Les Schwab folks, and of course this is a marketing ploy, is that they are the Nordstroms of tire centers in this area. They have over 8,500 employees that benefit from a promote within culture, which saw 538 store employees promoted in 2024. So they were very oriented into their employees. They do a lot of community benefits. They share half of its profits with employees through several generous programs. And they also have a community services program that they do things for the community in which they're located. They also provide tires to local nonprofits. I didn't bring a PowerPoint. I had a long PowerPoint the last time because we were facing a denial, but this time allowed us to meet with staff and to meet the requirements that the staff felt like resulted in the denial, which was the pedestrian connection to North Oak Traffic Way. One of the issues dealing with that was that the topography of North Oak, while it looks flat now, once that tire center building gets constructed, it will be up and off of it. So we couldn't do the direct connection at the area that they were requesting. Our engineers and team have figured out exactly how to get that connection. So you see that connection today. And then we have increased the transparency requirements with the spandrel glass. So we meet that 30% requirement. And as Genevieve has highlighted, we've added some additional screening along the south side of the building facade. I don't have any further testimony. We're all in agreement with all of the conditions in front of you. We are all available to answer. I think if you recall the history of the site, I believe you all recommended approval of a Popeyes restaurant in this location, right?
Yeah.
They recommended approval.
It's on the side, I think,
Well, it's on lot 4.
is it 4 or 5? That was 5.
So 5 was where it was previously approved. That
Right.
Amendment that came in before all of you was to move it to lot 4. That application ultimately was denied. There is a case for it to be built on lot 5, which
Again.
will be
Right.
before you in future meetings.
So, but I believe the concern by especially the person who wrote the note to you was that they were concerned about, at that time, about the 24-hour operation of a drive-through restaurant. They were concerned about the drive-through windows and the noise that would result from that 24 hours a day. Les Schwab has business hours. They close at 10. They do all their work within the building. There is no noise that occurs outside that.
Did you say a tire shop is open till 10?
Yeah, I believe.
6 p.m.
Oh, 6.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was like that.
I-
I mean, that sometimes you need that. So I'm not saying like,
I thought they were open till 10, but
8 a.m. to 6 p.m. I believe.
okay.
right. So they are, and they do all their work within the building.
Gotcha.
So there is no noise that comes from there. And as you can see, the building is a very nice design. And I think will enhance the North Oak corridor.
I do have some questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
More just I mean, maybe there's an answer to this, but it looks like the Bloomingdale's of tires is just below 96th Street. So we're 1,000 feet away from each other for 2 tire shops? Because it's,
Bloomingdale.
you guys said, I mean,
The Nordstrom.
we got to compare it some way.
Yeah.
They look like a very reputable shop. It just seems like very close for 2 tire shops to be.
I haven't compared the level of services that provides. I know our Les Schwab feels the market will sustain it and is excited to be in this area. So
That was I mean, when we go into food, not that there's food deserts up there, but that it makes more sense for me personally, because that's something that it's a commodity. I understand that tires are needed and mechanic, all that kind of stuff is needed, but when you have something like less than 1,000 feet away, I mean, I guess you have McDonald's and Burger King right next to each other, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think surprisingly sometimes with tires, cars have specific needs, and so I've dealt with some situations where you end up having to go to multiple shops to get what you need. So some clustering of certain industries kind of makes sense in that you go for something specific and they don't have it, you try down the street, that type of thing.
and Commissioner Arkin, the development code doesn't really regulate.
I'm
the
not,
market
this was more just a
Yeah,
question,
right.
business decision that seems.
I'm confident that the Les Schwab Tire Centers knows the business they're in and knows where they locate things and
Yeah.
feel comfortable making that investment.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Just to confirm a couple things. Did this go back through community engagement?
We went
No, we
through,
got the letter, but do we have an actual?
we had a public
did?
engagement meeting and she participated in that meeting. Everybody seemed satisfied at that meeting. There were only about 3 or 4 participants. They were very happy that it wasn't a 24-hour operation out there. So,
And then just to confirm, I'm focusing on the previous projects that these lots had. The neighborhood across North Oak, is that the one that had the big wall?
that's the one she is, yes.
They had the big wall, right?
The wall, there's, I think, 2 or multiple neighborhoods across the street. And so the southern portion, the southern neighborhood has a wall. And then there's a handful of houses kind of like split in the middle of this
Okay.
strip that does not have a wall.
I remembered the wall portion.
Mhm.
So then lighting, was that addressed?
The lighting meets the standards in the zoning and development code. It didn't come up as an issue for staff.
Just wanted to double check. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Questions for the applicant? All right, let's move to public testimony then. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 3, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you'll be called upon.
No one appears online with their hand raised and no one is available
Okay.
in the room.
We'll close public testimony then. Anything else to add at this time?
Nothing else. We appreciated the additional time to work out the issues so we could come together and sing Kumbaya.
Okay. All right. So with that, we'll close testimony and speak amongst the commission. There's nothing to discuss. I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crowley, move to approve docket item number 3 with conditions.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 3 with conditions. Larissa, can you take roll call, please?
Arkin,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Forbes,
Aye.
and Hassick.
Aye.
Looks like the motion passes.
Thank you
Yep,
all.
thank you. All right, let's move on to docket item 5.
Docket item 5.1 and 5.2 are companion cases. 5.1 is case number CD CPC 2025-00121, a request to approve a rezoning from District B3-2 to B3-4 on about 8.5 acres, generally located on the east side of North Oak Traffic Way at Northeast Hill Street to allow for a multi-unit residential development. 5.2 is CD CPC 2025-00122, a request to approve a development plan which serves as a preliminary plat in proposed District B3-4 on about 8.5 acres generally located on the east side of North Oak Traffic Way at the intersection of Northeast Hill Street, allowing for the creation of 1 lot for a multi-unit family residential building. And Genevieve Kahn-Smith is presenting on behalf of Matthew Barnes.
Thank you.
Just passed out 2 pieces of testimony that were provided after the staff report was published. As stated, I'm presenting on behalf of Matthew Barnes today. Docket item number 5 are 2 companion cases for a rezoning and development plan for the North Oak Apartments. Site is generally located just north of North Kansas City and east of Highway 169. This is the subject site highlighted in yellow. It's currently 5 parcels that will all be combined, around 8.5 acres. There are some existing buildings on some of these parcels that will be demolished for this proposed development. These are the 2 buildings here. And then, so the applicant is requesting to rezone the site. The orange portion, which is along North Oak Trafficway, is currently zoned B3-2, so it is already commercial zoning. And then the yellow portion on the bottom or north is to your right on this, but the yellow portion is currently zoned R-6, so residential zoning district. That portion will not be changed. It's mostly in a stream buffer corridor, so there's not much opportunity for development. So the orange portion only will be rezoned to a B3-4, which is really just allowing larger and taller buildings here. There's 3 buildings proposed, which I'll show on the site plan next. This is an entirely residential development, 167 units proposed with 255 parking spaces. And the site will only have access from North Oak, even though it has that portion that was on the south that kind of juts out, and that goes up to or over to Cherry Street, but there's so much topography change in the stream buffer, so there will be no access to the east, which you'll see in some of these images here more easily. So the site plan, you can see the 3 buildings. They are right along North Oak Trafficway with all of the parking and vehicular use area to the rear. Staff, did have some conversation about the ratio of parking. However, there was some compromise made because of the placement of the parking with the buildings on the street, which is exactly what we like to see. And here is the landscape plan, compliant with code. Again, we don't have as much screening to be done because the buildings are doing a lot of the screening work for us here of the parking area. And then the building elevations, mixture of materials, including brick, veneer, lap siding, and other masonry. The bottom facade is what's facing internally. So in addition to surface parking, there is also garage spaces available, which again, not seen from the street, which is exactly what we like to see. And here are some renderings of those buildings. The height, again, is really what's driving the need to rezone just a little bit higher to that B3-4. And with that, staff is recommending approval of the rezoning and approval with conditions of the development plan. And I can take any questions or direct them to the applicant.
Just one quick question. On the overlay, you'd mentioned the stream buffer obviously remains. How much of that canopy is getting cut back?
Excellent question. There was a tree preservation plan provided with this application that was reviewed against the code. It didn't make it into this presentation, but it's in your staff report packet. Yes, and I believe based on the amount of preservation, I don't believe any mitigation was required. I believe there is a strip of vegetation really just on this eastern side of the site to be removed. But compared to what's being preserved, it's minimal.
Commissioner Arkin, it's the 3rd sheet in the plan sheets.
Is it the hatch that's getting removed?
Yes.
The crosshatch?
Yes. And the striping is what's remaining.
mean, that's still a significant amount of canopy that's getting removed. Is there, I mean, for development, doesn't that go back to once don't you have to pay a fee for that?
The mitigation,
Yeah.
tree preservation.
Or is it only if there's a certain amount?
So there's a calculation which is in that table on the bottom of the sheet.
But we're counting all of the treescape that's in the undeveloped, or the area that can't be developed, which is a stream, as part of it, not just the area.
Correct.
That's, seems a little bit,
Yes.
I don't like that.
Cute.
Yeah, because if it can't be developed, I don't think that should be calculated in the,
That is how the ordinance is written.
Well, I think that makes sense. The whole goal is to preserve canopy, and it doesn't matter if you could develop it or not develop
right, but
it.
they're pulling canopy, and the way that they're getting their calc is by using stuff that can't be developed.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
like
I-
if
it's,
you think about like a residential lot, and then, you can't build, based upon setbacks, or, building up to the back of your lot, like you'd still want to count that as canopy cover. It still benefits you and the environment, even if we can't develop it.
I mean, I agree with that. I just feel like pulling out that much canopy on the area that it should be off of the area being developed, not the area not being developed, or possible to be developed, I guess is the way I would put it. But
Again,
that's,
it's a convenient shape of
yeah,
land,
it
which works.
yeah, okay. That was my only question.
So can I follow up on what Commissioner Arkin is saying? Are there any mature trees that will be left on the section that is being developed?
It looks like there's a little strip on the east, on the backside, right? That maintains before the bump out.
Yeah, Joe Christensen, Cardinal Crest. Yeah, so if the topography, it's kind of hard to really visualize if you haven't seen this lot, but you can see from the topography lines from North Oak to down to the stream, I would say it probably falls 80 feet. And so what we're achieving here is where that hash mark is, we're actually putting a retaining wall across the entire development that is anywhere from 15 to 35 feet. So we don't want to disturb any more that we have to, because the land itself is a very difficult build. That's probably about a $1.2 million retaining wall in of itself. And so we're trying to disturb as minimally as possible anything beyond that slope, because we're essentially having to hold the entire site up in the back. As you go further down, those trees become much, much more mature around the stream and further down. The ones that we are disturbing, this lot has had a lot of fill. And throughout, I don't know, 30 years, people have been dumping fill on this. And so where we are disturbing, they're more like saplings and kind of trees that haven't been able to really take root because of the dumping that has happened. As you go further down, the trees become much, much more mature.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at it from street view a little bit, and I see what you're saying there.
All right,
we're-
any other questions?
We're not getting, we're not getting really into the mature trees, and it's that first little buffer. We'll call it buffers. Okay, I feel a lot better about that.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, really welcome the applicant. You had any other questions for staff?
Sorry, guys.
Okay, let's welcome the applicant then. Good morning.
I kind of butted. Good morning.
You're fine.
Good
Yeah.
morning, Planning Commission. My name is Joe Christensen with Cardinal Crest. This is a joint venture between Cardinal Crest and North Point.
And I'm Rachel Barth with North Point Development.
Okay. All right, any questions anything you want to add to the staff report?
No, she did a great job. We're excited about it. It's a piece of ground that has really sat empty for a long time. Like I gave color already, it's been a dumping ground for all types of different things. Part of there's a parcel that's being used right now for kind of a car staging area, and then there is a transmission shop with a billboard that is part of this that we will be taking down and encompassing in part of the project. Super excited about just that more activation of this North Oak area. being right next to North Point headquarters there, we easily see residents being able to live there and work right there, activating the Waterworks Park across the street. I think it's going to kind of continue the revitalization of North Oak and entrance into more of Kansas City.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I have one question. So how are we gonna mitigate stormwater so it doesn't go into the neighboring lots?
Yeah, so this is actually a very sensitive area because it's part of the levy district. So the amount of calculations and engineering that goes into the levy district, the city actually kind of tilts towards the levy district to regulate some of that, and then has their own notes on top of that. There is in-ground stormwater retention that will then slowly let out stormwater into the stream buffer area. And that's going to be, that is regulated with the levy district and Kansas City.
Can I get an address? I'm looking at the report and it gives me streets. You mentioned Waterworks Park and that threw me completely.
Oh, yeah, it's on North Oak, across from Waterworks Park, pretty much. Just maybe a little shy north of it on North Oak Traffic Way.
The restaurant Cassio's,
So it's just south of there.
South of Cascones, yeah.
that's where we are, right?
Yeah,
That- Like on that street.
Yeah. So how many units did we say?
167.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for the applicant? Yeah, go ahead.
Just one other question. What is the expected rental per? unit?
Yeah, right now we're anywhere from $1, if we combine them, $1.85 to $1.90. So like a studio's about 1,200. One bedrooms could be anywhere from 1,400 to 1,500, and two beds about 16 to 1,700. I mean, it's kind of a class A minus, we'll call it. No pool, but some other outdoor amenities, and very nice indoor amenities, gym, cafe area, package rooms, golf simulators, stuff like that.
One, you overlook the park, which is really nice.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else? All right, this time let's open it up for public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item 5.1 or 5.2, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature. You'll be called upon. Come on up. Come up to the podium there and state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Megan Hernandez and I live at 3536 North Cherry Street. So I am directly behind this development. I did write something. I would try to keep it brief. I know that North Point Development is one of the top developers in Kansas City, and I am in support of their mission to build and improve in our city. But this particular structure does not align with the structures in the area or the structures along North Oak. I'd ask that the decision makers consider the taxpaying citizens that live along North Cherry Street, who have had to endure the nuisance of construction for the other apartment that they are developing on North Cherry Street. Our street has been shut down in multiple sections over the past year, and a section of it has been shut down for 4 months straight. For the past 4 months, it's been shut down. We haven't been able to use it. I would also ask that you guys please consider that our area does not have sufficient grocery stores. And I don't believe the infrastructure supports the influx of the apartment buildings that are being built in the area. Again, I live directly behind this proposal, and a 4-story structure built directly behind my house, with my house being below street level, will infringe upon the privacy of my home. I did write a letter with further information that I have submitted. And I would just ask that the commissioners consider that this will affect and change the character of our street. And if at all, if this is something that we're not able to stop, I ask that you guys consider putting a limit on how high that they can build it, because 4 stories is truly does not align with the structures in the area. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
No one else appears on Zoom with their hand raised, and no one else appears in person.
Okay, we'll close public testimony then. Any thoughts to the public comments we have? And you have a copy of the actual.
Yeah, thank you for those, Megan. And I can certainly understand, I do a lot of construction and I can certainly understand the inconvenience of that. It's not fun for anyone. I will say on that note, we will not be affecting Cherry Street at all for any kind of closing or construction. I know the current development that is down the street is affecting that. But I do feel like that will be short-lived, another 12 months or so, and that will be completed. The other thing that kind of and I have not, truthfully, I have not like gone from Cherry Street and looked up, but the topography of this and the trees and of this site, I do think it's a minimal impact than I think it seems because of the mere slope of the topography of the site and looking up, and then that retaining wall, it will be largely shielded. The other thing that I just wanted, and the only reason I know this is because I'm very involved in North Kansas City, and my office is in North Kansas City. North Kansas City has struggled to get a grocery store there, and a lot of it is because of density of people. It's mostly industrial. And I would say that to this point of this development and North Point's development that's ongoing will only help with that density and will then help to be able to anchor with a grocery store in the future. That's how almost all grocers look at it. They look at density of residence, rental, or single family ownership. So that's all.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, this time we'll close testimony and speak amongst the commission. Any thoughts?
I'll go ahead and make the motion. Chair Crowley, I move to approve docket items 5.1 without conditions and 5.2 with conditions.
Second.
So I got a motion and approval for docket item 5.1 and 5.2. Larissa, can you take roll call on the motion, please?
Arkin,
Before I vote, I just want to say I do think that this development is good. I would put something. I did look at the Google view from Cherry, and just in the winter it's very barren, and you can see through there. So there will be some visibility of this larger building there. So I don't know if there's something that you guys can do to help buffer that from them doing some sort of evergreen or something that would really kind of make it look nice for them. But I do agree with it. So on that, but I think working with the neighbors is really important because they're going to help bring people there and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
looking at the landscape plan, they do have trees all the way along the back
I saw-
between the parking lot and the retaining wall.
Yeah, I saw that.
Do you know what kind of trees those are?
I believe they're deciduous, so we can always work with city staff and
I would
neighbors.
Second what you said.
Yeah, look at something that'll stay all year round to help some screening.
So you want to rescind the motion and relook at the landscape?
I think it's more of in my opinion, it's more of a good faith thing. I've stated it in my, but I mean, it's unless you want to, Tyler.
Not especially.
Yeah, and
I
that's
don't think
how,
there's
I mean, I think it's, I don't want to put that condition on there. I don't think.
I think that this building's gonna be visible to a lot of neighbors.
Yep.
I think that that's why the architecture is important. I think they did a good job with the architecture. I think it is just a reality that as the city tries to add density, there are gonna be more buildings that people see from residential areas that they didn't used to see in the past. And so I appreciate the applicant and staff making it a beautiful building. So that way, it's not just a huge plinth or like a huge, volume, it has interest. And but yeah, it's a hilly area. It's going to be visible. But I feel good about what the applicant has put together.
So do you still stand with your motion?
Yep. So if it needs to be restated, I
No,
can, but
yeah.
otherwise.
No, I
Mm,
think we're
uh,
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're
you good with your second still? Okay. So we've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item 5.1 and 5.2. Larissa, can you take roll call on the motion, please?
Arkin,
Aye.
Beasley,
I'm still thinking through the tree thing. So you're saying that the type of tree that we're speaking of is already listed in their options?
Sounds like they mentioned deciduous, so those leaves will come down.
It is something we would work with the city and neighbors to make sure it fits the needs to screen.
Aye. Thank you.
Krell,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Forbes,
Aye.
and Hasek.
Aye.
All right, looks like the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's move on to docket item number 6, please.
Okay, docket item number 6 is case CD CPC 2025-00108, a request to approve a development plan serving as a major amendment to a previously approved plan to modify the permitted uses on about 63 acres, generally located west of I-29 and north of Northwest Berry Road at the commercial area known as Zona Rosa. And Genevieve Kahn-Smith is the staff planner.
Hello again. All right, docket item number 6, as stated, is a major amendment to the existing development plan for the Zona Rosa area. Site is located on the northern portion of the city, just west of I-29. This is the site highlighted in yellow. There's lots of different parcel types in this shopping area. So as you'll see on the plans, we are only focused on this very large highlighted parcel, even though there are individual parcels under different ownership where some of those restaurants are as you come in on Prairie View Road. So the only thing that's changing as part of this amendment is the uses that are allowed for this site. So the previously approved plans were very specific for each building in this entire area, and they were mostly limited to retail with some office and some restaurant. And so as market and times have changed and interest change, they're just looking to amend this plan to allow additional uses. So again, the only thing that's changing on the plan is we're adding a note to say all uses in B3, which is one of the zoning districts for this area, are permitted, except for the list that the applicant team has come up with for prohibited uses. So when a new tenant comes in and we look at if that use is allowed, we will refer back to this plan and this list. And then this is the plan that was provided in the staff report. Again, just cleaning up, adding that note, and the hatched areas in yellow are those areas that I pointed out that are under a separate ownership. And so they will remain with whatever uses were previously approved in the prior plans. This is a very large area, so they took the time to point out which areas are affected and which are not. And then I just have a couple of street view images of the area. I know everyone's mostly familiar. And staff is recommending approval of this major amendment, and I can take any questions.
Can you go through that list of what is not going to
Yes.
be included?
So the prohibited uses, there's a handful of the public and civic uses. So they have some daycare uses, religious assembly, some things that really just aren't relevant to the site. So a fire station you probably won't find in a shopping area, adult businesses, specific type of animal services, again, not really relevant to what you would find here. day labor employment agency, pawn shops, short-term loan type businesses, funeral services, gas station, RV park, and any type of vehicle sales or service. So really things that you don't already find here and that they want to limit. And then, and agriculture, obviously. And then there's an additional note too, that of course, all those leasing agreements are subject to the managing group and the type of tenants that they're wanting to have on the site.
Okay. All right, any questions for city staff?
We're going from what zoning to B3?
Zoning is not changing. It's already a B3. It's just that we're putting a note on to say, rather than limiting to retail, restaurant, and office, we're going to allow all uses in B3 except for what's on this list.
I like this a lot, just in terms of the large developments that we see. It's so difficult and the environment changes so much. I think, especially with a large space where the ownership group has a huge incentive to make sure that uses are compatible, it makes sense to me to provide more leniency to that organization to figure out what use fits in what part of the space.
Yeah, I never realized it was so restrictive on what could be there.
We're trying to, there was another amendment before you in, well, today and then previous meeting where we're seeing these older plans. They're extremely restrictive. And so really we're just coming in and saying, you can do everything that the zoning says you can do except for whatever, doesn't fit for your area. So we're trying to clean up some of these old plans. And as we move forward with the new plans, this is what we're encouraging the applicants to do.
So I have a curiosity question. You've got animal services, so if someone wanted to have a store where they sold pedigree animals, that's not allowed, right?
So there's a handful of animal service uses listed in the code. There's like grooming, boarding, things like that. I don't know off the top of my head which one of those are allowed in B3, but if they are allowed in B3, that's something that could be permitted
Okay,
here. So there's just different
I
categories.
was thinking we have a lot of folks with animals that need animal services, and I saw that on there and I'm like,
There's other ones that are not on this list that would be possibly permitted
You
depending
just
on.
can't bring your horse in there.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be.
I'm good. I just spotted that one and was thinking of services for animals. Okay.
Okay. All right, with that, let's welcome the applicant then. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Scott Ziegler with Trademark Property as the manager for Monarch Sub. Thank you.
Anything you'd like to add?
No, I think Genevieve covered it. We do have a Casey Pet Project, so, they have some animal services. But no, this is strictly, as Tyler referenced, to help with the leasing efforts, to fill the shopping center with uses that the businesses want and that want to be there and that the community is looking for.
Is there an example of one that you had to turn down because of?
Actually, the thing that triggered this was a business that was chiropractor and physical therapy. And the city told them that that was not a retail use. And so that triggered, this whole process.
Okay. All right, any questions for the applicant? All right, let's open it up for public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 6, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature.
No one has their hand raised online and no one appears in the chambers.
All right, we'll close public testimony then. Anything else to add at this time? Okay, I'll close testimony and I'll take a motion.
Chair Crowley, move to approve docket item number 6 without conditions.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 6. Larissa, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Arkin,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Crow,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Forbes,
Aye.
and Hassick.
Aye.
Looks like the motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question? How soon does that go into effect for them?
So they'll still have to, staff will prepare an ordinance and then it'll be heard by the city council and then the city council will approve it. So it'll probably be a few more weeks depending on the city
That's
council.
relatively fast. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to docket item number 7, please.
Docket item number 7 is case number CD CPC 2025-00101, a request to approve a rezoning from District MPD to District O on about 12 acres generally located at the northwest corner of Northwest 88th Street and North Baltimore Avenue, north of Metro North Drive. And Olafu Agbaji is the staff planner.
I want to thank Genevieve for setting this up for me. Good. Good morning, Olafu Agbaji, City Planning and Development staff. And Genevieve just made my presentation really easy for me because I'm doing one that's similar to what she just did. So our next docket item is CPC 2025-00101. This is a rezoning without a plan for Metro North Crossing. And MOB means Medical Office Building. So Metro North Crossing Medical Office Building. This is going to be quick. With me, Jacob Hudson from Olsen. We don't have Dan Horn here today, so. This project site is located in the Northland where my arrow is pointed. Again, we were on the west side with Zona Rosa, now we're back in the middle on 169 at the south east corner of 169 and 152, where the arrow is just north of Gladstone. Here's a closer look at the actual site. So looking at this picture, you can tell where Metro North Crossing is. Just to the site is actually highlighted in yellow. It's about 12 acres. On the west side of the site, or on the west side of 169, is Twin Creeks Shopping Center. Costco is further north on Platte Purchase on 169. There's an Islamic center just to the north side of the site. And then Oakberry Shopping Center is on North Oak Traffic Way and Berry Road. So Berry Road's on the south. Again, going back and doing a quick historic overview of this, back in 2018, after multiple rendition, this used to be the site that housed what is Metro North Cinema. And this is a picture that shows it back. And I did go there. I did take my kids there when I first moved here. So this used to be pumping and now it's gone. So what you see here.
Olafu, you said it's been 7 years since Metro North has been torn down?
No. This is the movie.
Has it been?
Yeah.
Oh, I know the theater, but the actual
2018.
mall. How long has it been since it's been?
It was 2018, 19.
7 years already?
Yeah, so of the whole mall, the only thing left is the Macy's building, which you just handled, I think, the last CPC. The Macy's building, McDonald's, Red Lobster, and
Olive Garden.
And Olive Garden. So those are the 4 structures left on the mall. So, and this was one that was torn down in 2018. So this is the site that we are talking about. What happened was when this got rezoned to UR, the part of the overall Metro North, this did not. This portion was left out because they were contemplating doing something with the building, but then they tore down the building. This is a quick background. Again, the overall Metro North is 116 acres, and this part was, this 12-acre parcel was rezoned to MPD, and this was done specifically for the GSA building, which was technically the FBI building that's right now at the airport area. And when the GSA does do development, they usually have more than 2 to 3 sites in the whole metro area permitted, fully entitled before they pick one. And this was one of them. So they went to MPD for the purpose of assuring the neighborhood and everyone that they will build this building if it's approved, which it did. And again, the building was supposed to be 5-story tall, and in the shape you see it, 40,000 square feet of floor with about 297 parking. And since then, the only thing that's been done around this area is T-shirts, golf facility has been built, and then the Woodstone apartment. This is what the building would have looked like. So if you recall, I think probably Chairman Crowell and maybe Andes saw this before back in 2020, and this did not come to fruition. It moved to the airport. So this is what we're looking at today, where there you see the Woodstone building and T-shirts that's been constructed, and this is the vacant piece. And this is the parcel currently zoned MPD, Woodstone to the south, T-shirt to the west. It does meet the current future land use recommendation by the Gasland Nashua Area Plan. And again, it's 12 acre, currently zoned MPD. A request before you today is to rezone it to office. The reason is that the MPD restricts the use to what was approved by that MPD plan, which was a 5-story office building for GSA, and GSA is no longer coming. So this request is just to relieve everything of that and just allow for another potentially office development. This will allow for all the uses that are allowed in the code by MPD, and some of those uses includes residential, public civic uses, and limited light commercial and offices. And it also includes medical office buildings. So, and with that, it does meet all the criteria outlined in 88-51508 for A through H for the rezoning, and staff's recommendation is for approval. That ends my presentation, and I'll take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commission to city staff? All right, let's welcome the applicant.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Jacob Hodson with Olson at 1301 Burlington Street, and I'm the agent for Dan Horn today. Just as O said, this is really cleaning up the zoning, so it provides Metro North Crossing with some more flexibility going forward in the future. Being that MPD only for the FBI building, they were kind of tied down to that. So we're in the hopes that a medical office building would be there in the near future, but we have not been selected yet, so we can't speculate on that.
Okay. Is there any thoughts or movement on the pedestrian bridge over 169? Is that still going to happen, or is that?
I can tell you that Metro North Crossing has dedicated some right of way or some land for the right of way to allow that bridge to happen. I don't know after that. Like, so the things are in place, but then of course it all comes down to funding.
Sure. Okay, just curious. All right, any other questions for the applicant? All right, with that, let's open it up for public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 7, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you'll be called upon.
No one appears online or in the room.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and close public testimony. Anything else to add on this?
Well, I did notice that twice, 2 meetings in a row, I'm the last case of the day for you. So I feel honored.
Yeah.
But
Must
thank you.
made someone angry.
Thank you for your time, and I look forward for your approval of this project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So with that, we'll close testimony and I'll take a motion, please.
I move to approve docket item number 7 without conditions.
Second.
I got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 7. Please take roll call on that motion, please.
Arkin,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Forbes,
Aye.
and Hassick.
Aye.
All right, looks like the motion passes then.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, I think we've got through our docketed items. Anything else to come before the commission?
That's
Well-
a record.
And I do have just one quick announcement or suggestion. We do have some light dockets coming up for our October meetings. And so since we haven't done some trainings in the last couple months, I wanted to know if you had any suggestions for some trainings you'd like to receive in those 2 meetings. If you don't have to think about it right now, you can always email Sarah Copeland and myself. But if you do have some, I'm open to suggestions.
Okay. Just another thought, yesterday was, a meeting with the committee for the KCI area plan. So we'll see that probably, I think they were looking in November, when they want to do that. So we did I can't remember what the earlier version was we approved, but now they're coming back with more stuff regarding that, the actual plan itself. So we'll see that one come through. All right.
That's all I have.
Okay, motion to adjourn. Got it. Thank you, everybody. See you in a couple weeks.
Is that a bad sign if there's a slowdown of?
No, summer months are normally our busy months
We're gonna get-
because everyone's, yeah.
The backup, the backlogs